like a bucket list item.
Yeah.
I've been skydiving twice, and I was like, think of something crazier. So I think I can really like check that one off.
Yeah, check it out. Craziest place. Would you say that's the craziest place to have sex in?
I would say an airplane.
An airplane?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's number 2?
A museum was pretty.
Museum. Wait, a bathroom museum or just like another part of the museum?
You need to write
For
a
me,
book.
or just like hypothetically, the person would be working in the museum.
Oh, okay. So then it has the doors to like to all.
Yeah.
Of that. Okay.
Hypothetically, there would
The
be like a
janitor
closet.
All right. What's number 3?
There's a closet. You guys are like writing this down.
All right. What's number 3?
Welcome back to Confess It, Baby.
Joining us today, and yes, I have notes, so I'm gonna be looking down. She's a globe trotter, has been to 34 countries and traveled solo to 20 of them. She's honestly a badass because I can't even stay at a hotel by myself.
Me either.
In her travels, she works at hostels, picks up social media gigs, and even DJs. Taylor Fudge, welcome to Confess It,
Thank
Baby.
you. I'm so excited to be on here today and talk about traveling and everything.
Yes, okay, so
This is like a trip for us.
I know we're so interested of like digging your brain and seeing
We're
like
travel around the world with you.
what places you've been to and all the advice you have, especially for solo travelers, because I could never. So you have a lot of balls, girl.
Yeah, it's really exciting, and I love to share that with people, and that's why I started the TikTok and stuff, and I have a blog, and just to show people like if I could do it, anyone can do it.
Yeah, so we're definitely gonna dig in there today. But before we start, this is a funny story time. How we met. Do you remember how we met?
Talk about that.
Hold on, we have to bring it's like a little
Surprise.
Okay, it's fine. Yeah.
Okay. So it was actually the weekend that we were celebrating the start of our podcast. I don't think I told you this. So we were out and about that weekend. And then we went to Giselle, which is the new rooftop bar on top of 11. And then across the table, I was like, I know, like, your face looks so familiar. You were there talking to someone from the table.
She got so excited. She's like,
I got
think
excited.
I know
I
that girl.
told Ileana, I was
know
like,
that
wait,
girl.
she looks so familiar. I think I know her. I pulled out my TikTok, right? And I started, and I looked for you. I remembered your name started with like a T. And then I found you, and then we're like, yeah, it's her.
She's like, it's her, right? It's
And
her.
then I
was
saw
like,
you
yeah,
showing your
it is.
tattoos. And I was like, it's definitely her. And then you said, like, you came by when you were leaving, said hi, whatever. And then, like, that's how kind of we introduced each other. Yeah, and here we are.
I never thought that I would get that in Miami. I get that traveling a lot, but in Miami, I was like, someone in Miami follows me? Because it's usually just like the backpacker and just like when I'm in Portugal or something, because that's what shows up on people's feeds.
Exactly.
So I was really surprised, and I was like, and every time someone says that, I like call my mom. I'm like, Mom. And it's been a bunch of times now, and I'm like, someone knows me.
Oh my God, it's
really
getting
crazy.
recognized.
It's crazy to me. And honestly, I didn't even know you were like from Miami until I started seeing kind of the landmarks, like where you were post around and stuff. And I was like, wait, this is a Miami girl. But in the beginning, it was just you traveling, like all the videos coming out. So that's super interesting to me.
That's how you know you're doing it right.
Yeah.
When,
Yeah.
people don't really know where you're actually from because you're always
Yours always
just
out
all
and
over.
about, girl.
Yeah.
All about.
The dream.
Every time someone's like, oh my God, I follow you, I'm like, I'm just Taylor. Like, it's so weird. I wish like I could see them from that side, but it's just like, I'm sorry you follow me. Like, I don't know what you know about me, but I always post so much. And I'm like, oh, I probably shouldn't put that online, but I'm an open book, so I'm like,
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
You gotta like share experiences, and that's how you grow and you teach other people. Like you have a purpose.
Yeah.
I feel like your TikTok, which we're gonna like dig into a lot. You show your purpose, and you have something when you travel and you share all these tips. Like you're helping others.
Yeah.
So it's not like posting random shit. Like you have other quality content in there too with value.
And the fun part is like the realness of it, like the good and the bad. Like, trust me, it's not always good when you travel. There's a lot of bad stuff that happens. Can I cuss? Am I allowed to cuss?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
A lot of bad shit happens.
That's our life.
So take us from the top. Like when did you start traveling, and like why?
So growing up, I always was very adventurous, and my mom would take me on trips. We went to Australia together because Steve Irwin was my biggest idol. So I was very fortunate to kind of have a family that was Colorado every year going skiing. And then I think the solo travel part started when I was in college, and I asked my boss for 2 weeks off for Christmas break. And she was like, no, you can't. And then randomly one day, I worked for Red Bull at the time. We met the can quota. So she was like, all right, you guys you're done. You can have a break. And I was like, well, I would have had something planned. So that's kind of frustrating. So I was like so mad, and out of spite, I was like, all right, skyscanner.com. What's the cheapest flight out of here tomorrow? Because I had 2 weeks free.
Yeah, shit.
I remember I
so
went,
spontaneous.
yeah, I went to my family, and I've been to the States alone, but never out of the country alone. And I went to my parents, And I was like, I just found a really cheap flight to Iceland. Like, I literally was like, would you guys send me to a psych ward if I just went to Iceland tomorrow? 'Cause who just decides to go to Iceland?
Yeah, out of nowhere.
So random.
And it was just such a random place. And they're like, no, like, if we say no, you're going to do it anyways. So go for it. And I was like, all right. So they were in Vero Beach at the time. And I just drove home on Expedia looking for places to stay. I couldn't even tell you the name of the city that I was going to. It's called Reykjavik. I didn't even know how to say it. I was like, I'm just going there. And then I went there, and it was crazy because I lost my voice on the flight somehow. So I go to this.
Were you screaming? How does that
I
happen?
don't know. I think so. I had like a layover in New York, and I could talk fine, but when I landed in Iceland, no voice. It's never happened to me. So I'm in this foreign country alone, no voice, no idea what's going on. But I was part of this Facebook group chat, and it was a solo travel group chat. So I just put like, "Hey, is anyone here?" And I met this sweetheart named Caitlin, and she went out with me. And luckily, she was asking me as much as she could with no voice. It was kind of like yes/no questions. But we ended up hanging out together, and that just kind of sparked this, like, I love to travel. And I met this awesome girl, this other girl from Amy. They're from the States. And after that, I was hooked on it. And then went to study abroad, started traveling there alone, and the rest is history.
How long were you in Iceland for when you went?
I think I was there for like 5 days or something.
Okay, wow.
And we got to see the Northern Lights. And what's really cool is, so it was around Christmas time. And then the following year, we made a joke and we're like, let's hang out again. So we met up in Toronto. And then the following year, we met up in Utah. So we like kind of met each other.
kept up with each other.
It's really awesome.
Oh,
So just those friendships and like the freedom, it just started something.
And experiencing so much together.
And was she like a backpacker? What was she like? She just travels.
Yeah, she was in pharmacy school at the time, I think. So she had a break too.
Oh, okay.
And I know she doesn't do the backpacking as much as I do now, but there was a lot of backpackers, and it is the safest country to go to as a solo traveler. So it's one of the safest countries in the
Iceland
world.
is really safe. We have a sorority sister in Iceland. My biggest from Iceland.
Really, that's really cool.
Yeah.
It looks beautiful
So
over
beautiful.
there.
In the summer and the winter too, because the summer it's almost 24 hours sunlight, and then you can see the northern lights in the winter times.
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine what that feels like. It's
Yeah.
probably surreal.
It is quite expensive compared to other places, but you feel so secure and safe, and everyone's so nice.
Sure, that's good. And okay, so then I did read about you that when you take these trips, you work in these trips basically, right? You stay in a hostel, but you work at the hostels. Walk me through a little bit like how those opportunity came to be.
So it was funny because I got broken up with, and I was just kind of lost at the moment. COVID just started dying down, so I was like, I need to travel somewhere. So I went to Costa Rica, and I met this girl, and she was like, she just got done working 10 days on a farm with no cell service, no electricity. She had to take showers in waterfalls.
Wow.
And
That's rough.
I was like,
What?
when the sun went down, lights were out. They didn't have lights.
Pitch dark.
And I was like, that's just so adventurous and cool. And she was like, yeah, I found it on this app where you
Adventurous and cool.
She was, it's just such an experience, not
Yeah.
things that you can do every day. So she told me about this app, and people who work in hostels, it's like a Workaway, Worldpackers, they're all kind of similar. So she was like, you should go on this app. And I was like, I've always thought about it, but I never did it. So then I was like, all right, I downloaded it, and I applied for my first hostel, and I got accepted. And then I went to Brazil, and that's where I worked. And it was actually during Carnival. I had no idea about Carnival. And I was doing social media at this hostel. So my life was just perfect. It was party, get content, and enjoy Brazil.
And they would pay you for staying there as well.
So some are different. So that one, it was just accommodations, and usually drinks and food are included. So it's kind of like volunteering, but that can lead to other jobs, or you can work at bars, you can get tips. Really, every hostel is differently set up.
And
Cool.
usually, how big are the teams of like these people that they're hiring and bringing in?
Yeah.
And how long are you there for?
Usually when you're just volunteering through these programs, you'll do a month minimum, but you can always extend. They like people to stay because you kind of get the gist of everything. And then the teams, it really just depends. They need bartenders, they need yoga instructors, content creators. I would say about like 8 to 10 staff usually are running these hostels.
Wow, that sounds fun though.
It sounds fun, but it's very spontaneous. It's like,
It's like a dorm, but like in another.
yeah.
Yeah, the housing situations also changed. So I've been in dorms. One, it was like a 10-person dorm, but then I've been in some where I have my own room. So it always just varies.
always
and then
different.
the one when I worked in Guatemala we got breakfast, lunch, and dinner at the restaurant, and it was really good food. We could order anything off the menu.
Oh, nice.
And then drinking so much. Like,
Yeah, no, I can imagine. But
Party.
you prepare for these trips, like before you leave, you have all of this laid out, right? They tell you what the gig is gonna be, like how the room accommodations, all of this is prepared before you go.
yeah, it's
Okay.
pretty stable. Yeah, they'll and then when you're applying on the app, also it'll tell you how many days off you get, what you get perks. You can get excursions for free. What's included. So you kind of know when you sign up how it is.
And you've been doing this for how long?
I would say a little bit over a year now, and
Oh,
I've
wow.
worked in 5 different countries.
Jesus.
I know, right?
You're
and,
going so fast.
and what's the kind of like, what's the motivation behind you like taking this step and like going out to these different countries and taking these gigs? Like, why? What's the what motivates you? What's your passion? Like, why do it
I think
instead of like staying here and taking a social
Yeah.
media gig? You get me?
I think what I have been doing is I am building my portfolio. So I feel like when I'm going out having this content, like my portfolio now, it's all these different countries, all these different types of things. And that's kind of my lifestyle of traveling that I like. And then also when you travel and you get to stay somewhere for extended amount of time, you get to really embrace the culture and learn about it versus just going for 3 days. So that's another like learning experience for me. And then working in hostels, you meet so many people. And that's the biggest downfall is every day people are coming and going.
I know.
So you meet so many people, hundreds, but then these are all goodbyes. Sometimes you meet people you really love and then they're gone in 2 days.
Do you stay in touch with a lot of them? Like
Yeah.
social media and stuff? At least you have social media.
Yeah, I was just actually making a TikTok about this. And my travel friends, some of them, I call when I need someone versus calling a best friend here. And they know my truth, like they know who I am, and they're kind of unbiased. And you guys just kind of resonate on this different level because when you're traveling alone, you're so vulnerable, you're yourself, you know. No one knows who I am here or when I'm there. People know me here. So, yeah, some of them are my closest best friends. I could not imagine like living life without them.
I think that
Crazy.
I mean, I've never experienced like backpacking
Yeah,
or
or
any
like
of that.
meeting people that
Or-
have made kind of like
yeah.
an impact like that on your
But
travels.
the vibe of traveling with someone, like just in general, is completely different. The experience really makes you like fall in love with that person and like learn so much about them. When you're not home, it's just so different. So those friendships that you make must be very special.
And it's so easy to make friends. A lot of
Yeah.
people, when you solo travel, they think it's hard to meet people. And you ask any solo traveler, and the biggest thing about solo traveling is you're never alone. It's kind of annoying because you have to try and be alone. And that's if you're staying in hostels. If you're in a hotel, yeah, you're alone. But you're always surrounded by people. And the conversations are so easy. They just start, it's annoyingly the same too. It's like, hey, where are you from? But you just look at someone, they're like, hey, instantly click. Like, hey,
Is there ever like a moment where you like, you know, you have a crush or something and then you like keep that connection going
Look at
and it
her
becomes
face.
long distance? Look at her face. I'm just so intrigued
many.
because obviously
Too
you're
many.
beautiful and I'm sure like you there's a lot of other women and men
Especially
that are
when they hear like,
traveling
oh,
and they're
she's from
single.
Miami.
And you're also a DJ, so that's like an extra cherry on top.
oh yeah, man.
So what is that like?
It's fun. I mean,
We were talking
I
about
have
like
to
guys.
say,
Yeah.
like, I've met so many amazing, beautiful guys like Jay Alvarez style or like Guatemalans. You know, you get to experience all these different cultures, like French guys. Like, it's so exciting. It's so much fun.
Which has been your favorite?
Oh God,
She likes Hispanic guys.
I do.
She likes the Hispanic swag. Little.
Are you sure?
I know. I didn't believe her either because you wouldn't think that, but she does.
My type is like a rapper, like the one that walks in like fully tatted,
Oh,
head to
wow.
toe, like the
Like
bad
a
boy.
reggaetonero, like that vibe. Yeah.
Have you met like that type on
yeah.
a trip?
Yeah. Yeah, I've had some funny experiences. There was this tattoo artist in Portugal.
Oh, wow.
This man was like, he had a teardrop. Like,
Had a teardrop.
I was just like, to tell you, he was tatted head to toe. Bad boy, but the sweetest guy ever. But usually, if you see someone in a room and you're like, that's a walking red flag, that's where I'm going to kind of go to. It's really
you
it's
look for
sad.
that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
usually like, that's my type. Just like
But
the
have
bad
you
boys.
kept any of these connections going after like returning back
Yeah,
home?
romantically. Has there been one that at least like one that has really like impacted you?
There's a really cute little love story in Egypt, but I wasn't alone. I was on a family trip, And one of my friends here was like, oh, you should go meet this person. And it was my first day, and I love more of a local experience. So I was like, yeah, like take me to a local bar, local restaurant. So he picked me up, fresh off the plane, and we just hit it off, like instantly kind of fell for each other. And after that, I was skipping museums with my family to spend time with him. Sure. And it got down. I was there for 10 days, and then he was like, you should stay. And I was like, Mom, Aunt Monica, like, I'm going to stay here. And they're like, all right, if you can change your flight, do it. So I stayed 10 days with him. Wow. And we we really, like, fell in love. And I flew back home, and a month later, I was on another trip back to Egypt to see him. And we were in a full-on relationship.
For how long?
So I went back, and we spent another, like, 2 weeks together, and he just started changing. Dating an Arabic guy is just kind of, like, more possessive. I can say this, but
yeah, go ahead. You have the freedom to say whatever you want to say.
This guy, like...
Confess it, baby.
Confess it, girl.
He gave me a curfew. And it was funny because he was like...
After 2 weeks?
After, like, a month.
But remember the culture.
Yeah, it's different. And I'm not used... I'm, like, a free spirit person. And he was like, you are not allowed to go to 11. And I'm like, red flag. You can't tell me that.
Yeah, what?
Wait, isn't, like, women not allowed to drive over there? Or wrong place?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think they can drive.
Okay, so wrong place. There's one.
They're just really strict.
It's
with
one,
women,
like, I mean, you have to, like, cover your knees and your shoulders and stuff. And you can't wear tight-fitting clothing. There's a lot of...
Yeah, especially if he's over there and not here. He's still very much in that culture and not Americanized.
So wait, how'd you end it?
Yeah. So
I'm so intrigued.
I went
by
back
this.
the second time, and I was with him, and he just started kind of getting mean, and just things started changing.
This was after the whole curfew conversation.
Yeah. I was still with him because I was like, I'm in love, like, blinded. And then so he was like, yeah, I have to go to Dubai for work. Like, I have to do all this stuff. So I was like, all right, I'll just leave, I guess. So I was already on that side of the world, and I was like, well, I don't want to go home. It's my birthday, so I'll go to Mykonos, my favorite place at the time. And I remember he dropped me off at the airport, and I got to Mykonos, landed, and I texted him, hey, I landed. Didn't hear from him. And then I was like, all right, a few hours later, hey, are you okay? Didn't hear from him. And he just completely ghosted me.
No.
Yeah. He just...
You've never heard from him.
So I remember I blew up his phone, and I called him, and he was like, yeah, I just don't want anything. And that's all he said, and never again heard from him. No explanation, nothing. And I was like, I just flew across the world to see you. And just...
Wow.
Done.
Wow.
Haven't heard from him since.
So this is a worldwide dilemma, the ghosting.
Yeah. If you can learn anything from me,
it's worldwide.
Everywhere you go,
ghosting
men are shit
all over the world.
I've tried it all. I'm looking, and I'm like,
it's
just
so crazy.
You can't hide from these things. Like,
oh my God.
It's not just Miami.
Like I feel my chest hurts.
Right.
But you know what? I was really, really hurt, but thank God that happened.
Yeah.
Because of him, I was like, I'm heartbroken. I need to go travel. Met the girl who worked in the hostel stuff. And then since then, I've been working in hostels.
So he was the original heartbreak.
Yeah, he is the reason.
Shit, this started. Shit happens for a reason.
It really does. Yeah.
Shit happens.
And
it's
early
a redirection in the right direction. Literally, it's what it is.
To get you where you are now.
Yeah.
Because I feel like he could have been a distraction.
Yeah.
Especially with the red flags that he
Like, what would your life have been if you would have stayed in that relationship? Just think about it.
Ironically, he made me watch the movie Hostel or whatever. So, and he was like, make 2 promises to me. You will never stay in hostels again, and you won't do drugs with strangers. So I was like, all right, that's my career.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. And he's never reached out to you again. Like, he doesn't even follow you. Look at your stories.
No.
Wow, that's crazy.
He didn't really talk to anyone. I don't know. He just completely changed and never gave anyone an explanation. His friends were like, what are you doing? And
what was it like when you went to Mykonos that week after that you were there?
It's really hard. So I've been heartbroken twice while
I think
traveling.
that's a really good place though to be heartbroken at.
I was watching a sunset by a windmill, crying, and I'm like, how am I one of the prettiest places in the world?
You're crying.
But it's like a movie.
Yeah, now it's just kind of have a bad taste in my mouth about Mykonos. Now I'm like, I don't want to go back there. So I naturally, like anyone, I would download Tinder, went on a date, and I was like, I can't cover it up this fast. I can't get under someone to get over someone.
Yeah.
And there's no way when you get your heart broken to kind of fix it. Like, it's not going to help you to keep traveling, but it doesn't really help you to come home and cry. So it's just kind of what I've learned, what works best for you. Because I've done both. I've done in Italy, indulged in Italians, and I've came home and just cried in bed. And it's just time heals.
Yeah.
No matter where you are.
That's
But
an
it's not
interesting
fun.
point of view. I mean, we can't relate because I haven't found love anywhere.
I've only dated
But that's an
Hispanics,
interesting point of view.
so I don't know anything.
Dating
outside of
locals,
that.
and that's it. That's all we
But
know.
I'm glad to know that ghosting exists outside of
Oh,
Miami.
yeah.
Yeah.
Outside of the United States.
And you can still cry in Mykonos. And cry
Watching
in
the
Italy.
sunset.
Yeah.
I would rather be heartbroken over a beautiful French boy than the people here. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
exactly. It's more exotic. It's more of a story. It's more exotic.
I'm so intrigued by this whole dating life as a traveler because, I mean, we're both used to just being in the same place always,
Yeah,
and
seeing the
it's
same
always the
type
same
of guys,
crowd
same type
coming
of
in and
people,
out.
yeah.
And if we meet someone that's like French or Italian, it's like because they're in town for some sort of event. What was it like? What would you say is your favorite nationality? I guess so far, like
we were
who do you
talking
get
about
along
that.
with the
Yeah.
most, culture?
What's the best and the worst so far for you?
Oh, that's a hard one. I think the smoothest one right now, one of my favorites would be Guatemalans.
Okay. That's interesting.
They're very smooth, suave, I don't know.
Oh.
And the worst, Australians are pretty fun, but they're crazy. So
Crazy how?
they're just party, psychotic, like,
A lot of energy?
yeah, they're
Okay.
just always the ones that are gonna, like Irish people. They're just always gonna do something dumb and drunk, and they're just off the
Interesting.
wall.
They're not too serious.
No, total opposite.
Okay.
And then the worst, I would say, is probably the Arabic, just because
Yeah.
that's the most fresh, like heartbreak.
Did you meet any of his friends while you were dating?
Yeah, some of them live here because he used to live here.
Oh.
For when he was in college.
Oh, shit.
And I met them in Egypt, and I hang out with them here. So there's quite a few friends that I know that I run into. I ran into one of them in Publix the other day.
wow.
Oh, wow. What a random.
No one-
And I'm
no
still
one
friends with
brings it
them.
up?
No
No
one
one
brings it up. No, he actually moved to Dubai, has a girlfriend now. I creeped on Instagram.
Is she from there?
I don't
Not
know
over
where she's
here?
from. Hers is private, but
Oh,
I was like, hey,
I love to like snoop.
Have you been to Dubai?
no, but I want to. I feel like that place is where I'm gonna go and not return.
Yeah, I
Just find a Habibi and
I'm
stay
I'm
over
looking for
there.
a hubby.
let me tell you, I recently went and
You
I
should
didn't
did.
really have any expectations before. I didn't do my research. It was just kind of like last minute for my little cousin's 21st birthday. I wanted to stay there so bad.
Yeah.
So bad, and I think that's where I fell in love with my
So
boyfriend.
expensive.
Like we went with Carlos and we experienced it together, and it was just life-changing, but in such a different way because you get to see their culture and you get to appreciate like their culture in a different light, not just through like YouTube and like
Yeah.
reading about it.
Yeah.
And it felt like a video game. I just can't explain it.
Yeah,
That trip made me want to like become a traveler. Not gonna
I
lie.
really want to go to Dubai and experience it.
Beautiful.
But my favorite thing about like in these hostels is you're kind of bumming it, you know, like there's
Oh,
a kind
yeah,
of a
no,
rough
this
side.
place isn't-
So for example, in Guatemala, for almost 4 months, I didn't have hot water for showers.
So it's
But
like a
you just-
third world country.
Yeah,
like,
that's how it is. And it's just kind of cool to experience that and just, you live with it and that's your life.
Yeah, you get used to it. It's
Yeah.
probably rough in the beginning, but then you get used to it. I
Yeah.
can't imagine myself.
It's like full
Because
survival.
I went to Jamaica and it was like an eco-friendly type of like hotel, right? When you would open the door, the air would turn off, and that was already bothering me. Like that was already
Coming back
freaking
to a hot
bothering me.
room.
And then the shower, you had to like hold it for the water to run. Like you couldn't just like turn it on. And it was like little minor things, but I was annoyed by it. It was like one with nature, but I was annoyed. I was like, I can't. I'm too bougie for this shit.
Yeah. I mean, I love nature, but I like glamping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I
glamping is
like
nice.
I like nature in that way.
But it's an experience in itself. Like
no, and I
Rishi
also
says.
feel like once you put yourself in a situation like that, you fall in love with it the more you get into it, and the more you get into it,
Yeah.
and the more people you meet. It's not just you by yourself, like out in the forest all
Yeah.
the time, you know.
Yeah.
So
Do you ever?
Wait, I was gonna transition. What were you gonna say?
If she gets scared, like being alone.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get there.
Okay. I have so many questions.
I know we have a lot of questions. We're bouncing
I
around.
love talking about it. This makes me so happy.
So, what's the craziest thing that has ever happened to you on one of your trips?
So I like to put this category into just a country because there was probably like 4 things that were insane that happened to me in Bali. So I went to Bali before the vaccine was a thing, during COVID, like the peak of it. I had to quarantine in Jakarta. I had to get a business visa approved way months in advance. And so I'd fly there, quarantine, horrible experience. They just bring you food, you get what you get. It's disgusting. And then finally I got tested twice for COVID, negative. They let me go to Bali, and I was living there for 3 months. And it's always been a dream of mine, and it was so nice because the island was completely empty. But because the tourism was so low, they were resulting in stealing and theft and stuff to make an income, because Bali is just, it's ran on tourism. So I was coming home from a bar one night, and I lived alone in a villa, and I just hear some like ruffling outside. And I had a friend coming over. We were going to go swimming, so I was putting on a bathing suit and stuff. So I'm like, oh, my friend's here. But it was like ruffling, like someone's playing in gravel.
Yeah.
And I go out, and there's like a little janitor's closet, like a little hallway thing in my villa, and there's a guy there with a mask on.
Oh my God.
And I'm alone. It's like 2:30 in the morning, and I'm drunk, so I'm just like, whatever. You're not like thinking,
Yeah,
right?
you're
So,
not
and I'm so mad about this, but I literally looked at him, and I was like, hello. He was like, hi. And I was like, could you leave, please? And he was like, okay. Word for word, the conversation. And he got up, climbed over, and left. And everything, like the next day, I ended up calling the Airbnb host, and I was like, what the heck? I can't call police there. The police aren't going to
But they
do much.
stole something.
No, he was going to. So he didn't expect me to be home, so he was caught. So he didn't want to like harm me. He was just, people were stealing laptops, phones, just to sell. So I called the Airbnb host, and they ended up sending the mafia. So Bali is ran by the mafia. That's kind of protects everyone. So like these 10 guys shows up with bats and dogs, and they're like looking for this guy.
With bats and dogs. This is a movie.
and then I stayed at a friend's house, and I switched villas, and but I was just like, man, anything could have happened to me. But it goes to show, like, Indonesians truly, like, they believe in karma. It's a really amazing place. They don't want to hurt you. If I was here in Miami, something bad could have happened. Shot, rape, anything.
100%.
Get you out of the way.
They really just wanted to get money, probably to get food to provide for their families.
Yeah.
Another time, I was followed at night twice on scooters. Again, they're looking for girls with purses around them. Yeah, in Bali. And I just lost them on the scooters, took some turns. And
oh my God.
that was just like, whatever. And then, I paid off the police like 3 times because they'd look for you because you're a tourist. And they're like, oh, you don't have a license, so you'd have to pay them off. So there's a few things in Bali that happens that were pretty crazy experiences. If we're talking about like dangerous. Or,
whenever you felt dangerous. Would you say in general that's kind of like the top stories or the top location that you've ever felt like you weren't really in danger? Every other place has been chill.
That's actually one of the least places I felt, ironically, in danger.
Really?
Even those things were happening, it was just, you knew that they didn't mean harm.
Yeah.
But I can say, knock on wood, but I've never felt in serious harm ever traveling. I'm very fortunate. I know a lot of people who have gone through those situations, have been kidnapped, taken advantage of. Yeah, solo travel.
And female, like.
I cannot like say something that has hurt me, done anything bad to me. And I've been in so many places where I probably should have happened, like it could have happened, walking drunk alone in Thailand on the street. But just someone's looking out for me, you know?
Do you try to be cautious when you do go to places like
you're
that?
Or
you're just kind of like,
it looks like she's
I say it, like I have a vlog, but no, deep down, like I am very careful. One of my biggest things that I do, and like a tip I tell people, is to trust your gut. And I really do go off my gut feeling. And there's been a scenario, I was riding a bike kind of in a dark place going to a restaurant in Mexico, in Tulum.
Oof, Mexico.
And I just knew in my gut, I was like, just don't go down this dark road. Turn back. I know you're hungry. You want to eat at this nice restaurant, but just go home. And it was like my gut feeling. So I was like, all right, I turned around, went home, stayed in bed. I think I got food ordered or something.
Yeah.
But I just always trust my gut, and I'm always looking around. But there are definitely times where I've maybe drank too much, and I never get to the point where it's really I need to be like taken home or something. You're always like aware of yourself. But
And I mean, eventually, like with experience, you know, you've kind of learned more to trust your instinct and picked up a few, you know, tips along the way of what not to do.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, you're probably like, you know, I'll be fine. Because I feel like all of us, like in the beginning when we're younger, we're like, nah, we'll be fine.
Yeah.
But with time, you know, you start processing more of what could happen.
Where should I go down that dark road or not?
Yeah, sure not. Shit.
Do you ever rent a bike over there or cars, like, or you're just like walking everywhere?
A lot of places I've been, it's just Uber or walking or like buses. It kind of depends where you go. But a lot of countries have Uber, even like Guatemala, places you wouldn't think. Colombia.
Yeah, I
so
wouldn't
Uber's
think Guatemala
fine.
has like Uber.
Yeah, in Antigua. But like to get to El Paredon where I was working, you had to take a 2-hour bus, and the town was so small. There, you don't drive, you just walk. There's not even a market there to get
tiny.
food. There's like a little gas station area, but it's one road, 3 hostels, and that's where I spent.
For places like that, has there ever been an experience or some sort of trip that you absolutely hated, but you were stuck having to work there and finish the contract that you had?
Yeah, there was one last summer. I worked in Portugal, and then I went to Italy. And there was this, I love Italy. I studied abroad, so I was like, oh, yes, I'm going to live in Italy for a month. And I got to this hostel, and it was so antisocial. No one would talk to me. The boss didn't talk to me. It was just so weird. I hated the town. And after a week, I was like, listen, I get 90 days here. I have to leave.
Yeah.
I'd rather be somewhere else. So it took me a lot of nerve, but I told them, I was like, hey, I'm leaving. And they were like, all right, ciao.
They didn't even
No,
know.
they didn't care. And I was like, thank God I didn't stay and waste my time.
Yeah.
So I definitely learned through that situation and other ones, like if I'm not happy, leave. There was another place in Croatia that I worked, and I was treated like trash. I felt so bad about myself. And they actually found me from TikTok, and they're like, come work for us. And I did, but everything I did was like, no, this is bad, bad, bad. Delete. And this guy was so mean, talked badly about all his staff. And after 2 weeks, I was like, I got to leave for my mental health. Like, this is, so it's really nice. I've learned, and I apply that in other life situations. Like, if it's not going, if you're unhappy, just leave. There's so many other opportunities out there.
And you share a lot of your experiences, like you've been mentioning, on that TikTok. You have almost 50K followers already.
Yeah.
How has that like experience been like for you, and like the doors that TikTok has opened for you?
It's been really fun. It started out like kind of everyone downloaded it during COVID, just being bored. I was following some trends, and then I took it to traveling, and I wanted to show my day-to-day life working in hostels because I thought that was interesting. And it just blew up from there. And then I was getting people in Portugal, these girls would be like, I follow you, Taylor. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, what do you mean? Like, I'm just like shit posting. I call it shit posting. And I'm just like,
But like, no, there's value in that content, girl.
And it was just, it really has opened up so many doors, and it's gotten me like partnerships and affiliate codes and stuff, working with brands and people I never even thought that would reach out to me. Like Hostel World, it's like Expedia for hostels, and I've done content for them, and I was like, what? And then the most recent one is the Business Insider. So a writer, her editor found me on TikTok, and she sent it to her writer, and she was so interested in the career and stuff working in hostels. So she emailed me, and she was like, I want to write a piece about you. And I never thought that I would make it on Business Insider. I thought that was so crazy.
Yeah, when I saw the article, I was like,
yeah, it's just, it was kind of this thing of, my parents are always supportive, like they're like, you follow your dreams, but TikTok's kind of silly in some people's eyes. So I feel like the
business opportunity,
the Business Insider article really validated that. And it was like, you are doing something, and you can make a career out of this. So that was really awesome to happen to me. And that's my most proudest moment.
And do you consider yourself like a travel blogger? Because in a sense, you are getting all these partnerships, right? But you're also taking on some gigs when you're traveling. So, travel blogger, you're most like, hey, like, come to Bali, you have this free hotel, you get the free flight.
All inclusive.
So in what category? You're kind of like in the middle of it. Like, what would you consider yourself?
I don't even know. I think I'm trying to figure that out too.
Okay.
I don't even like saying TikToker. I think that's so weird. I think of like those LA people who are doing dances and stuff. I was like, I swear I've never danced on TikTok. That's one thing I'll say. You will not see me do a dance. But I don't really know what I would say that I fall under the category yet. I want to figure that out, and I'm really hoping this summer, kind of when I'm in Europe, my algorithm's a lot better and I get a lot more followers and views.
Interesting how that works.
I don't know how it is, but it gets picked up. So I wouldn't put myself under any category yet, and I'm still trying to figure that one out. Because I kind of want this like travel DJ too. So I'm kind of deciding, I think this summer, what I want to go down what route, if I'm going to stick to blogs, if I'm going to stick to TikToks, move to YouTube because there is kind of this TikTok
Oh shit, yeah, YouTube.
ban thing going on. I did that in Bali. So I have a channel. It started getting subscribers. I just kind of gave up because TikTok was easier and faster. So yeah, I'm just really waiting to see this summer what opportunities happen and kind of where I want to go, because I don't know if I'm going to stick to the hostels moving forward, working in them. And I don't know, I might want to come back to Miami, settle down for a bit, and work for a marketing agency here, social media manager. I'm not sure yet, so.
Yeah, I think you'll figure it out this
Yeah.
year.
Is there any country you want to go to before you come to
Yeah.
a stop, though? Is there any place?
I would say I really want to do Antarctica. So Antarctica is on my
cool.
list, but there's no hostels there. I can't work there. It would just be the last continent. So I've been to all of them but that one. So I feel like it's kind of a goal of mine. So I really want to hit that
The grand
one.
finale.
Yeah.
Grand finale. And what's the craziest thing working in a hostel that you've seen?
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna say
It's
something.
like
but
seen
I'll
or
say it later.
done.
Both.
Oh.
Both. My
It's like
coworker
that.
today is like, ask her if how people have sex in a hostel. I'm like, all right, I put it in my list.
Yeah, because some of them have shared rooms,
Yeah.
right? And shared
I
bathrooms.
probably at the end something funny to confess. But
Oh yeah. Don't forget
We
about it. I
love
want to
that.
hear it. I love it.
so people can have sex in showers.
But what if you're sharing a room with like 4 other people in there? 'Cause
People do have
I
sex in there.
stayed in a hostel in Barcelona and it was a nightmare. Never again.
People, they do. I think that you shouldn't, or people shouldn't be in there if you're doing that. I don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't stand for that. But most things like showers, common areas, I don't know. People get really creative. When I've worked in one, I've done night reception, and I've heard a lot of things.
Have you ever walked in on
Yeah.
anything?
No, I've never walked in on anything. There was a boy and a girl one time sleeping above me, and I was like, "Hey, girl, you gotta leave. Like, I don't want to wake up and hear you guys having sex."
Oh, jeez.
She was just kind of like hesitant, but eventually she left. But I was like, it's a respect thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of unspoken rules with hostels, and just follow it. Like, you respect my space, I respect yours. So that's that.
So what about craziest thing you've done?
Confess it. Look at her face. I'm gonna zoom into her face.
I'm not even telling my mom about this podcast, to be honest. Like, I was like, I'm not telling anyone about
Like,
this.
let's hope it doesn't fall on her feet.
Portugal is a crazy one. I worked at, I don't even know if I can say. Anyways, I worked in Portugal, and it was a party hostel. So there's always crazy stuff going on.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And I did end up having a threesome with 2 guests.
Oh. You guys weren't sharing rooms, right? I didn't hear it. What?
So,
What did she say?
whisper.
Whisper.
I don't know if we can put this on. I don't know.
No, we can cut it off. We can cut it off.
Yeah, we
I
can
don't
cut
care,
it
but I
off.
don't know if it's bad. But
Just say I'll cut it off
it
if
was,
you don't
it
want
was
it.
boys. 2 boys.
2 boys?
Yeah, 2 Canadian
Oh,
boys.
okay, okay. I'm
The
like,
Canadian boys? They were probably so
Canadians.
nice.
Honestly, the best time of my life.
really?
It was so
I've
fun.
always wondered like how that would
Yeah.
be like.
it was
So
fun.
were you're saying it was at a party hostel. What's the difference between a normal hostel and a party one?
Yeah.
A lot of hostels do nights on Friday, Saturdays. Will they do pub crawls or something? But party hostel is every single night. There's something going on. They'll start the pre-games at 8, 9, and then they'll lead the pub crawls. They usually have their own. So I would be a pub crawl host. But just when you stay at a party hostel, expect to be nonstop partying. You can only really stay for 1 or 2 days because sometimes it's so chaotic. Because people, when they check in, they know they're there for a reason.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's
They're
to do
going hardcore, do
everything
everything.
crazy. So
Do
if you want to
you-
relax and sleep, it's not the
You're
place
not
to
gonna
go.
get that there. Do you DJ too at these hostels, or it's mostly just like planning the events?
So the one that I worked at in Guatemala, when I first arrived, they're like, "Oh, we have parties every Thursday. We have DJs," and I was like, "No way, I DJ." And they're like, "No way, like you're on Thursday."
Oh, shit.
And I always just DJ my parties in Miami just for fun. The pre-post games I learned because I've always loved DJs, and I was like, I want to be one. So I would just do it for fun. But then that was my first actual real life gigs. So then I was DJing the parties every Thursday, and then people would come, they knew me, they loved me, and then I started working at another hostel, their parties on Fridays. And then people knew me, word got around, I got a gig in Antigua, and then this after party place bar, they're like, come. So I would work for them every Saturdays.
Oh, wow.
And everyone was reaching out to me, and there was another bar I'd work at. So then I was DJing at 1 point 4 nights a week.
Oh shit.
And it was just so much fun, but I think that did take a toll on like I was staying up so late partying, and then the next day I was coordinating events,
work,
being
yeah.
social, my battery was dead.
You weren't sleeping.
Yeah, and I was like going through it with one of my managers. Like we had like a little fling. We were kind of seeing each other. So he was such a bad boy. So it's just like everything happens. But yeah, so DJing, it did start there. I haven't DJed any other hostels, but I plan on it, and I think I'm going to Croatia on Sunday.
Take us with
For
you.
a folk party company, and I've talked to them, and I really want to build connections and probably potentially DJ there at more places and kind of take that as like a travel DJ.
And going back to your career, like what you studied in college was business and film, you said, right?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about how those paths kind of have helped you build a brand in a way, because you're your own brand, TikTok, right? Everything
Yeah.
that you do with traveling. So walk us through a little bit how you think like that background for anyone out there who kind of studying, it's a path
Yeah.
that they can take, and it's not something you think about, basically something out of the ordinary. So how has that helped you?
So when I was business, I had a marketing internship, and I was doing blogs for other companies, and I was doing Canva posts, doing social media, scheduling it. So that was like my first 2 years, and the next 2 years was film and kind of this being creative, creating content, and kind of graphic design and website design. So that really just fell into everything that I love to do, and that's like making the social media for other companies and traveling. And when you're working at hostels, it's so much fun because it's just not like a normal ad for food or like silverware or something. You're selling a trip, a vacation, and a really cool place like hotels. So I just think those two things just perfectly fell together. And then my passion for traveling and wanting to make content around the world is my own personal brand of the TikToks. So I'm really fortunate, and I never thought that I would be able to like do these things. So seeing it happen is just, it's such a great feeling. And it's something I've manifested, and it really does come true. Like manifesting 100%
Oh
works.
yeah, we've talked about that 100%.
That's
For
one thing is
sure.
like, if you set your mind to it and just pushed for it, you're going to see it happen. And don't give up, because I was going to give up a long time ago. But just keep it up, keep doing it, and it'll work in your favor.
Tunnel vision.
Tunnel
Yeah.
vision,
Tunnel
100%.
And if it doesn't, just enjoy it while it's happening.
Yeah,
Enjoy the ride.
Live
like,
in the
have
moment.
fun.
Yeah,
Life's
enjoy
short.
it. That's so
Do
true.
you ever pre-plan the trips? Like you said, you're leaving on Sunday. Do you have an itinerary for the few weeks that you're going to be there,
The
or you
gig.
just kind of wing it?
I kind of have an idea of where I'm going and what I want to do, but and also one thing that a lot of travelers say is they regret making a set schedule. If you go in and you prepare like 2 a.m. we're doing this, 2 p.m. we're doing this,
get caught up in it, right?
You just kind of, you don't leave room for spontaneous stuff. And sometimes you'll meet someone, they're like, oh, you should go here and do this, and you're like, well, I can't because I have to go to this museum. Or you meet someone and you want to travel with them, but you're like, I can't because I'm leaving to go to this place. So a lot of people do regret having a very strict schedule. So I like to keep mine open, and I'm usually Googling things on the flight, really. When I go places, I don't even do research or know what I'm doing. I'm like, I'll be surprised when I get there.
How far ahead do you know if you're going to go on a trip or not?
I love booking flights the night before.
Oh,
I love
no, the anxiety.
there's something that's so
Anxiety.
exciting, and it's just like the thrill of like, I am going to Puerto Rico tomorrow.
Oh my
And
God.
like, I'm going on Sunday. I don't know what I'm packing. I don't know how long I'm going for. I'm just kind of just winging it. Some places I'll plan maybe a week in advance or two, but I feel like I'm so impatient that if I plan a trip 3 months in advance, it would just kill me. I
my
couldn't
God.
imagine like
just waiting, patiently waiting for it.
I don't.
How do you
I
travel? How do you
inside.
pack?
I have to order like outfits. I have to do my research on what places I want to visit. It's a lot. I can't just do one day to the
Yeah.
other. The anxiety will kill me.
How does it work? Because obviously you're backpacking, so you don't really take a lot of
Not
suitcases,
always, because sometimes
right?
you're staying in a place for like 3 months.
Yeah.
So you're not necessarily backpacking unless like weekends you go around the location. I
Yeah.
mean, it depends.
I can pack like a backpack for a month. I try to.
How?
I know it's taken me a long time to learn. Like it really
my
has. I used to always pack over 50 pounds. I don't know how I've gotten it down, but I realized like neutrals are really good, like blacks and whites,
To
or
mix
like
match.
all black. And my biggest tip when you're traveling, always bring a little black dress. Because there's always a scenario where you want to go out and look good or go on a date. And when I'm packing, I'm like, just shorts and t-shirts or something. But you always need a little black dress.
Yeah.
But yeah, just neutrals like jean shorts, little crop tops. Those are really easy to fold up.
Do you buy a lot of stuff over there?
I do like to, because I feel like my style changes when I'm traveling, and I kind of like to blend in. And
that's smart.
most places I go, it's a lot cheaper to buy stuff there. So, and especially in Europe, the clothes I have here, I wouldn't wear over there.
Yeah, the style is different, especially in Europe. I mean, in Spain, they would dress so nice when I would
Yeah.
go. And I was like, bruh, what am I wearing?
And like little sundresses, and I'm so innocent and dressed so nice, and I would never wear that stuff here going to like Brickell City Center. I would never wear like
Going to 11.
A little flowery dress.
I
Like,
have-
where's she gonna go pick flowers from?
I have this like
Garden.
little blue dress, and it goes all the way down to my ankles. Like you would never catch me in Miami wearing something like that.
But that's extremely acceptable.
Yeah, and
in
it's
on
anywhere
the other
else.
side of the world.
I love it.
Exactly.
Oh my
What are some of your top tips for first let's go through the list for solo travelers and then for travelers, like in groups, family travelers. So for solos, what are your top tips?
So, like I mentioned earlier, definitely always trust your gut. Your instincts, they know best. So that's number one. My second one, my big one, is to share your location always. Like, share it with your family, share it with your friends. Like, 10 people have my location. And some people could get worried about telling their family. I'm also very open. I communicate with my family. So I'm not going to hide that I'm going to a rave in a jungle somewhere. I want them to know just in case something happens to me. I'm always sending my flight information. They could get mad at me for partying in a jungle, but at least I told them. So if something happens to me. So they've kind of learned of like, hey, we might not like it, but she's open with us and we like that communication.
Yeah.
So be open, tell them, and share your location just in case. And I also have an air tag I keep in my backpack, and that's a really nice tip in case someone steals it, something happens, you can track it that way. My next tip would be to do your research. Although I said I don't like to kind of research where I'm going and stuff, it's more so where you're staying. I like to read a lot of the reviews and hear other people's experiences of hostels, hotels. So just kind of like, in a sense, like do your research of if the area is safe or not. You can have kind of ideas of what you want to do. I want to go see this museum, this and this. But you just kind of like be familiar. Don't go into a bad neighborhood. Like know what you're getting into. So that's for the solo travel.
For solo travel and for groups or just like travel in general, like what are some recommendations?
That one's a really hard one. I haven't been on a group trip in so long, or like with anyone. I hate it. It's
But
really
would you
hard.
say like prepare an itinerary if it's like with a lot of people, or still just like run with it?
There's always going to be that one person in the group.
I want to go to this
That doesn't want to do
museum.
the same thing.
There's always going to be one person, and you have to listen to them. They're like,
Yeah.
I want to do this, this, and this. And you're just kind of like, all right, like sit back and relax. I think my biggest thing is when I've traveled with my family, they're really picky eaters. And we would eat at certain places, and they wouldn't want to try new things. And that's one thing about learning of a culture of a place is the food and the local drinks and stuff. So I would just say if you're with picky eaters, just try to find a way to get out and try your own foods, because that's an experience itself.
Yeah, food is huge.
Yeah,
I'm a huge believer in experiencing
the culture, the food.
the food of a
Don't freaking
specific
go to like
country.
Italy to get a freaking
burger.
burger, like
yeah, you
burger
should-
and fries. Hello, get pasta.
It's like going to Colombia and getting Starbucks. Like, are you kidding me? Like, no, don't do that.
McDonald's. I
Colombian
went to Spain and I got
coffee.
McDonald's, but honestly, I was craving chicken nuggets. Like, I
Yeah,
had to
sometimes
get
it's nice. I don't have much advice
Yeah.
for a group because I couldn't tell you last. I hate it. I
You hate it? You
fucking
like better?
hate-
You like to be better by yourself?
Oh, I love. I hate
and just
family
meeting
trips.
meeting people along the way.
Yeah, like I can't. And I meet someone and we travel together because we're on a different page. Like we're on the same page.
Yeah.
But family trips, no.
No.
It's hard because there's so many opinions.
Yeah. I don't know.
And it's also one thing I found is kind of difficult traveling with someone who's not as well traveled. You guys just kind of clash and they just don't. I went on a tour with someone in Colombia and he just like wasn't respectful and didn't care to learn. He was just kind of there like, let's just party and stuff. And I'm like, it's really hard. Or people who haven't experienced things. I've seen a lot of bad shit. I've seen a lot of sad shit. And some people are so oblivious to it. So when you're traveling together, like, oh my God, this. And I'm like, really? You have no idea what it's like.
Yeah.
for the locals.
Yeah, in Indonesia or
basically.
something. You don't know what I've seen starving people on the street. I've seen Haiti, like the worst of the worst.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, like respect.
it's just
basically.
I always find it really hard to travel with someone, even a best friend. I'd just rather be solo.
That says a lot.
It does
That
say a
makes
lot.
me kind of want to experience
Right?
it.
Experience it. No, I'm too scared, man. I can't even say I want to because I'm so scared.
And
I can't even stay in a hotel room by myself. Like, I'm so scared. I feel like I'm gonna get kidnapped in my
Really?
sleep. I can't. If I'm gonna get kidnapped anywhere I go.
I think it would be nice to explore, like another country by yourself. I think it will give you insight as a human, and
No, I'll be terrified.
know.
I can't walk down the street by myself. Like, I really can't. I need to have another friend. Maybe two more, three. I'll feel safe.
now that you say that, you bring that up, do you ever carry pepper spray with you, or
No.
is that not allowed?
Nothing?
in-
Taser? No.
Nothing.
no, I don't, because you don't know
She
what
got the claws though.
the laws.
The claws are more than enough.
You don't know the rules.
That's true.
And I really don't want to get held up at immigration or something.
Yeah.
I don't want any conflicts, so I don't bring anything. I think self-defense classes would be very useful.
Yeah.
Again, I've never done that. Obviously, I'm asking a stranger, "Hey, can you please leave? Like, you're inconveniencing me.
You
Like,
need to go.
I don't have time for this. Like, come tomorrow." I really don't know. My mom just did get me an alarm. It's like a keychain alarm,
Ooh,
and
the
I've heard,
beeps.
that will help.
Nice.
So I'm gonna take that with me.
Okay.
That's smart.
So I'm gonna try that out. But yeah, there's
No, hopefully you don't have to try it out.
no.
Yeah.
You carry it, you do
But you
not
have it
to
just
try
in
it
case.
out.
Just in case.
Okay, that's good. That's good. If there's someone out there that would like to start traveling like you do and then just taking, these gigs around the world, where can they start?
So one thing I tell people is, my biggest advice, if you want to solo travel, is just fucking do it. Like, that meme where it's like, just do it.
Yeah.
Like, just literally book it. Don't even think about it, because you're by yourself. You can't ask your mom, your dad, your best friend. Like, you've got to do this alone. So just literally fucking book the flight. Don't even think about it. Then go about your business until the day of your flight. And then you pack your bag. You're not thinking. You get on your flight. And when you're 30,000 feet in the air, then be like, oh shit, what am I doing? And then have your oh shit moment, but now it's too late. So you're forcing yourself. So just literally book it, because you need to just make that kind of path, and no one can hold your hand. No one's really going to do this for you because you're solo. So just book the flight, have your oh shit moment, and then enjoy the ride.
There's never a right time.
No.
It's always the right time.
And if you're going to wait for someone, then you might never get to go to the
Yeah.
place you've dreamed of going. And it's kind of sad, but we come in this world alone and we leave alone. So
It's
you
true.
need to get comfortable alone. And I feel like being comfortable alone, you better yourself for someone else. And you get to know yourself, and you learn so many things. So there's so many things that you learn from traveling alone, other than just having the time of your life, partying, seeing new cultures. Like, you're really learning to be comfortable. I can take myself on a date. I don't need anyone.
Love that. Very independent.
Yeah.
That says a
Sometimes
lot.
I think you do become too independent, and I do fear that that's going to be an issue later down the road. But that's an issue for that day.
Yeah.
That's not an issue for now or stress right now.
I'm not worried about it
You're
right
just
now.
living life right
But
now.
I do find that sometimes I'm like, I don't need anyone. I can do it. Or I don't need a man. And in relationships, I get that could probably be a conflict, but
Yeah.
not worrying about that.
Yeah.
Right
Yeah,
Not
no,
right
it's
now.
not a priority right now. It
now. I'm
doesn't
young.
matter.
Out of curiosity, so these gigs that are paid, are they paid in like the money of that country, or is that, is it
Yeah.
American dollars? Like how does it work? Like the currency,
Yeah.
like and the pay wage kind of.
Yeah,
Like what is that like?
You're paid with their currency, and a lot of the gigs are under the table because they can't do the visas, fill out the information.
Oh,
So
okay,
it's
okay.
usually just like paid cash under the table. A lot of bars will do that too. It happens a lot. The only thing in Guatemala, I was paid Guatemalan wage, and that is very, very low.
Oh,
But you were also getting all these perks and stuff, so that was fine. I was DJing, like there was other sources of income.
Okay.
But there's some places, but like Europe, it's very much like America. But
you're getting the good guys there.
So your tattoos, each one holds kind of a special meaning in your travels.
yes.
Tell us about it.
So I just started this thing a year and a half ago of getting a tattoo in every country that I go to, and I'm filling up my arm to be kind of like a passport. And I think it's such an amazing thing that I've done. And and it's also fun because tattoos are cheaper in other countries, so it's like $30-$40, and I'm addicted to them. So I
Once
say
you
that
get one, you can't
yeah.
stop, honestly.
And I say that like I get one in every country, but realistically I get like 4 or 5 in every country.
All at once. How many do you have already?
On this arm, I think I have about like 27.
Holy
and I have
shit.
8 different countries, so I'm really excited. I wish I started sooner, but I'm happy I started. And it's really cool because when I look back, like I can, I know where I'm at and who I was with at the time and kind of that whole entire experience. So there's one in Brazil, and I know I was working there, my best friends at the time, and it just reminds me of that. So it really is like looking at the stamps in your passport. And yeah, I love it. I can't wait to. Oh, and then my most exciting one was this one. So it is Saturn. It's a universe kind of thing. And I was at a hostel and I had random people decide for me. So I was like, hey, I want a tattoo tonight. Splash tattoos. Pick one out for me. Don't tell me what it is until it's on me. And it was people that
Oh my God. Imagine it would have been something you wouldn't let.
And I really love these people, and it was like they're all different, but we came together. We're good friends. So, and it's crazy because that's the tattoo that I wanted. I went the day before and got another one, and I was between the two, and it was just so cute that they decided that one for me. So
I love it.
That one
That's
is
super
one of my
cute.
favorite ones, and it's just so spontaneous.
I love how it's all the same color and they're all thin.
Yeah.
It's
And
very
it's like a
nice.
patchwork sleeve, and
Like
if
you wouldn't even think there's like 27 there.
Yeah.
No.
And it's just now starting where people notice it. But when I do like sit down with people, it's funny because I can see them staring at my arm and I'm not used to it. And then it is kind of annoying when you're meeting so many people and they ask you the same questions and you have to explain every single
Every
one. And I'm
which
like, okay. Like,
This one I gotta hear.
Yeah, and
This one.
I love
They each
talking
tell
about
the
it.
story.
Yeah, I love the stories. I love sharing them, and each means so much to me, and they have really cool meanings. But yeah, after like the third one of the day, the third person, you're like, all right, what's 333? It's just numbers.
It's just numbers. It's just a
It's-
random
it's a
tattoo I
nice
wanted to
way.
get. That's all it would is.
It's a nice way to keep track of where you've been.
Yeah.
Do you keep track anywhere else? Like, do you have one of those like pinpoint maps, or is there anything else you
I do have a travel journal, and I write in every day that I travel, and I think I've been doing that for 3 years now.
Oh, wow.
And it is so sweet. Sometimes on the plane I'll go back and read it, and it's like my story, and eventually I want to write a book. And
so
it's
cute.
you forget about these little details when you're traveling. So I really recommend anyone who's traveling, write a journal. Put in all the names, put in all the details, because you are going to forget those little things. And it is so nice to go back and be like, oh, I remember that. I remember feeling that. So, and then one day maybe show it to your kids, grandkids.
No, it's the
They
perfect
become
recipe
travelers
for a book.
like you.
Yeah.
Follow your footsteps.
Yeah. I don't know
Super
what I'm going to
cute.
do if I have a daughter like me. I hope not, but
You're
I
gonna
know.
tag along.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm gonna have
scared.
my hands full if she's anything like me.
Just take the trips with her and that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, no, she's like, I want to go solo to a country. I'm gonna be like, no, because I know what I did.
Oh shit, you're so true.
That is true. You know what's out there now.
What's the favorite place that you have been to? I hear the damn sirens in the back. It's so crazy how you hear that shit. Favorite place you have traveled to so far?
Okay, I got it. It's actually gonna be 3.
Okay. You
So,
can't pick one.
I can't. Portugal is a huge one for me.
A specific part in Portugal?
Lagos, Portugal.
Lagos,
It's on the
okay.
south, and it is just a beautiful little town. It is so much fun. You have the beach, just the cobblestone streets. It's amazing. But then you have Lisbon, you have Porto. There's just so much in Portugal to see and do, and it is one of the cheapest in Europe. Next, I would say Bali, Indonesia. I've never felt happiness like I have when I was there. Every single day I was excited to wake up. Like, it was crazy. So I love Bali so much. And then Tulum, Mexico.
Really?
Everyone shits on Tulum, and I love it. I love the aesthetic. I love the vibes, the music, even like the sound or the smell there. I love the Palo Santo everywhere.
Oh, I love Palo Santo.
I just love the vibes in Tulum.
And
There's
you
no
stayed at a
place-
hostel there as well?
No, I actually haven't stayed at a hostel there. I've stayed at hotels. I've been quite a lot, especially during COVID, because it was so close to Miami. So I've stayed at a hotel. I've worked with a hotel. I went with a big group of 10 people.
Oh, wow.
And I've went on like a little couples date thing. So I've been in all types of scenarios.
Yeah, Tulum looks really beautiful. I've been wanting to go there.
Yeah,
Tulum
but I'm
is-
scared of Mexico, man. I
I
won't
know.
go right
No,
now. At
yeah.
least not right
Mexico,
now.
No,
At
there's
all.
something so free about Mexico. When I cross the border, I'm just so happy. I just feel like I'm like, get the
When I
tequila ready,
cross
let's
the
go.
border.
It really does open up something. Like, I'm a different person. Just Mexico for me, I just love it. And not just Tulum. Like, there's other parts I love, but
Do you feel different everywhere you go? Kind of like you change?
Like a different persona?
that's
Like,
the
what do
thing.
you think?
I feel like a chameleon. Like, I adapt to wherever I go, and I feel like my personality kind of changes, and I'm good in those situations. But I feel like ultimately I'm just more myself, and I'm more happy, and I love the person that I am in these hostels, and I feel like my true self. So that's, I think, that one reason why I keep doing it.
I love
I think
that. Yeah, go
I've been
for it.
thinking about this since I arrived here.
Mm-hmm.
We are in your
Let it out,
apartment.
girl. Let it out.
We couch surf. Why Miami as your home base?
So Miami, there's something so special about a big city to me, because I come from a very small town, And for me, it's just exciting new. There's so many adventures, so many people. And versus like New York, I love kind of the South American like influence here. And I love the Hispanic culture here. And it's just everything that I love. Like when you're traveling, you know, you have that different, I don't know, life. Yeah. So I just love Miami, everything about it. The party scene, I'm a big party girl. So I'm in the best place in the world. I love the boat days. I don't go to the beach often, but I'm a big ocean girl. You can see the ocean from my apartment. So Miami's everything that I love.
So it's always nice to like come here and like reset.
Yeah,
So it's time for
it just feels like home. There's so many opportunities here.
Miami is home.
It really is. I made my way back.
I think that this is one of the best cities on earth. Out of everywhere I've traveled, I truly love coming back here, and it's so exciting.
And it means a lot coming from you because you've traveled. I mean, us, like,
you've seen it all.
Yeah, you've seen it so much.
Yeah,
and you've actually lived there, because it's one thing to travel somewhere.
Yeah,
like
for
said,
like
for a few
10 days, but you've been in a place for months. So it means a lot. Like,
do you ever get homesick?
I do around like the 3-month mark. I feel like I do get homesick, and I have a great life in Miami too. So I'm not like really running away from it. I love coming home. I love my friends. But at the end of the day, yes, Miami is the greatest place on earth, and I love it. And I'm so happy to call it home. I'm going to stay here forever. It's always going to be a home base, like 305 till I die, I guess. Like,
just like us.
I love it. I'm really happy
So
here.
this is what's after. When you're done with the traveling, it's just Miami and marketing here.
Yeah, I think so.
Perfect.
Unless something,
And where are you off to Sunday? To wrap this up,
okay.
Where are you up to?
So I will be in Croatia all summer long, working for a boat party company, doing their social media management stuff, their marketing. They have a pub crawl company. They have a pub crawl, I don't know what to call it. Yeah, company, I guess. So I will be managing all their social medias and doing reels, blah, blah, blah. And I'm really excited because every day is a party. There's like 140 people. The first boat is sold out. There's DJs, there's a bar. It's like Yacht Week, but every single day for
That's
5
so
months
exciting.
long. So I don't know if I'll be there for a month. I'll be there for 3, maybe 5. Who knows? I'm going to see what the opportunity, like what happens when I'm there. But I'm on the water every day.
So exciting.
Like, it's
Yeah, you don't need the Miami water. You have freaking Croatia.
I worked for the competition last summer, and I'm so happy with this company. I've been working with them for the past 3 months already, like just because it can be remote.
Yeah.
And I'm just so excited to see the opportunities and what happens. And I have a really good feeling about this summer. And
you're going in pretty on board already since you've been working with them?
Yeah, wow. Everything's kind of set. I feel like I've been there already and negotiating influencers. There's a lot happening, and I'm really excited to see, and I feel like I could build a really good relationship for basically spending every summer in Croatia.
Love that.
If they were to tell you to stay there for a full year, would you ever do that?
No, because I have my apartment here. Like I've thought about giving up this, but I still need a home base, and I feel like I start missing home around the 3-month mark. So I will come back. So that's always your cutoff. Just 3 months. 3 months. So I really don't see 5 months. I think maybe 3 realistically, but I'll probably join them next summer and every summer until I decide to settle down.
So exciting.
Yeah. Shit, I wish, man. Can't even take a weekend off. Can't even take a weekend vacay, man.
It's hard. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to have a job and like be able to do what you do. Like here. Yeah. Unless you make that your job.
Yeah. Which she has, basically.
I feel like our parents would have a heart attack. If I ever tell my mom
will die.
Hey, I'm leaving tomorrow to Croatia, she'd be like, no, you're not.
No, you're not. With who?
Give
me their numbers.
With God.
I'm really lucky to have amazing parents who supported my brother, and everyone they want me to be happy, and I couldn't ask for a better family. So
that's amazing.
I'm so happy. Yeah. Excited for what's to come in the future, and hopefully more TikToks, more content.
I hope TikTok doesn't go away because there's been that whole situation.
Yeah, I'm worried about that, but I would
Good thing she's famous in Europe and on the other side of the world where TikTok is not going to go anywhere.
Right?
That's true.
Good.
Then when I come back, I'm screwed.
Yeah, when you come back, you're shit. Who knows what's going to happen with that?
Yeah.
You have to leave a contact over there creating content for you.
Is there anything else you want to like cover? What do you think? Got the floor.
I would just say, like, if someone's thinking about taking a trip, just do it. Don't look back. And also, one thing that I've learned is that the world's not as scary as it is made up to be. The news is always going to show you the negatives. You're always going to see what's bad because that sells. That gets people's attention. They're not going to tell you about the local who helped this girl when she was lost on the street or something. So we always see the bad and the negative, and that's what a lot of people portray these countries to be bad because that's all they see. But really, the world's not as scary as it seems. It's not as bad, and you'd be surprised with like how amazing people are. So that's what I'd say.
Love that.
Beautiful message.
And to close this off, Taylor, how can people follow you and find you? Where are you? What's your
Yes.
@?
If you want to follow me on TikTok or Instagram, it's tfutch. And yeah, tfutchtravels.com is my blog, or just tfutch.com. It goes to both. So follow me there and watch the shit show that's going to happen this summer because I'm ready.
I love it. We go
I think we're all ready to keep
I
up.
don't know what's going to happen, but I'm ready for everything and anything.
Jen and I are going to be
Love it.
waiting for you at the airport
we
when you
are.
come back. Like, tell us.
Welcome
How
back.
was it?
No, I'm going to come
Tell us
back
a
like I
story
can't
time.
talk about it.
What stays
Those are
in,
the
what
worst.
happens in Croatia
Those are
stays
the
in
best.
Croatia.
Confess it, baby. Now it's
Yeah.
coming back to Miami. Want to
So,
hear it.
One thing I would confess that no one knows. Yes,
Wait. Can we leave this on
You
the
can.
phone? Okay, making sure.
I joined the Mile High Club. That's like the ultimate travel thing.
Shit.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I
The
met him in
term.
the airport lounge.
Oh
So
shit.
I was in the
okay.
lounge and he just like kept eyeing me, and it was LA to Miami, and I just knew he was like, it's Miami, bad boy, tattoos.
Oh.
And we're just like, he came and sat next to me, and I was like, you're going to Miami? He was like, yeah. I was like, okay, cool. So we got some wine, then we went to our gate. We were going to sit 2 rows from each other on the
Oh,
tickets.
shit.
So we told someone, we're like, hey, we're actually dating. Can we sit together?
Oh,
But it was a
shit.
red-eye flight. There was a row empty, so we went to the empty row. And
So not even in the bathroom, in the empty row, you got it on.
both, yeah.
Both.
Wait.
Yo, that
How does
bathroom
that
is
even
tight
work?
as fuck. How
I
did
thought
that
it was
work?
in the bathroom.
Yeah.
She said both in the row
Oh, so
and in
wait,
the
but, like,
bathroom.
in the
I'm
row,
like going to
was
be
there a
banned from every
blanket?
airline.
Is there a
Just
blanket?
kidding. Yeah.
I'm gonna
I was
mark an
coming.
X on you.
So I was coming. I went to Utah, LA. So I had like 2 big jackets. I couldn't fit in my suitcase. So we just had like some jackets as blankets, whatever. And then yada yada yada. And then I was like, all right, let's go to the bathroom.
And no one noticed.
No, everyone was sleeping. And
Very
you just like
quiet
someone goes in,
movements.
you wait a few seconds, other person goes in. That's how you leave. And
And then they saw 2 just coming down.
no,
Taking the one with Shane,
was-
walk of Shane down the aisle.
to the walk of shame. That's the only walk in the aisle
Hair
I'm
all
walking on.
messy.
Oh, hair messy, walk of Shane
Oh
down
my
the
god. Well,
aisle.
So, yeah.
congratulations.
Yeah, so
Yeah, shit.
I'm gonna lose every never
I
have I
still don't
ever.
understand.
No,
Never have I
that's-
ever.
Yeah,
Hey,
never
it's
have
all
I
life
ever.
is all about experiences.
I think that's what it
honestly.
is, and you know, it's to say I did it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Life is
100%.
short, so I am proud of this and wouldn't probably do it
I
again.
know she's like, I'm proud of this.
You
I
wouldn't.
wouldn't. I
Mission
don't-
accomplished.
Just, it's too scary. It's more of like skydiving, as in like a bucket list item.
Like you're scared of getting caught.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
what's
don't-
the worst thing that can happen? What are
Yeah,
you,
what
they're
can
gonna
they
do?
Probably
do?
to
like
you?
banned from an airline. I don't
You
know.
think
On
they're
to
banned?
the next one.
You think
My
they're
best
banned?
friend's a flight attendant, and she doesn't caught anyone, but I know they just say like, "Hey, don't do this." Like they just kind of give you a warning, like
Yeah.
it's
Like
not-
a verbal warning.
Yeah,
not
yeah,
an
yeah.
I mean,
actual
it's not
one.
like
Yeah, I
you're
think it's
hurting
fine.
someone. You know?
Exactly, like,
Let us have fun.
Yeah.
Everyone's sleeping.
and I think I get it. I think they probably.
Yeah, I
have
don't know.
safe-
I would, if
don't
people
know.
were doing that, I'd be like, "What the fuck?" But
Yeah,
when
there's
it's
some
like a different
suspicious
story.
activity behind me.
It's like the door in bed with the guy and the girl.
I would call a flight attendant and be like, "Do you know what they're doing?"
I hear some weird noises over there. It's a lot of rucking,
I seen
a
a
lot of
really-
movement.
I seen a funny thing of like those suites, and then it was like this TikTok of a guy who woke up, or it was like, I don't know, but the guy woke up and heard clapping, so he started clapping as in the plane landed.
Oh
but
my
it was
god, I think I've
actually
seen that.
just-
I've seen that meme.
I mean, if they're making those business
That
suites
is
where they're
hilarious.
combined beds, like
Yeah.
you know what's gonna happen, it happens.
Exactly,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly. They're
Oh my
probably
gosh.
used to seeing that.
People do
shit.
it, so
They
I don't-
can ban you. I don't think they will ban you.
Yeah, no.
Because
It has
it's not,
to be
you're
a
not
common
harming
thing 'cause
anyone.
You
Yeah.
hear about it
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah, especially on a long flight. When I saw have you guys seen the Call Her Daddy, the episode with Christina Aguilera? She was talking about that.
About
Yeah,
joining the Mile High Club.
Yeah, yeah. And then it was like she was like showing like the position. She was like talking about everything. I was like, interesting how
There's
this
like a
can
whole ass
happen.
book on the positions if you want to join the Mile High Club.
Because Alex Cooper, like, she was asking like how, so they got into details.
Yeah, there's like
Interesting.
YouTube videos. I've researched it before.
There's
I've been
YouTube
curious.
videos?
I'm pretty sure I've read blogs about it, like what to do and stuff. So I kind of knew.
Interesting.
Just because it is like a bucket list item.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I've been
Yeah.
skydiving twice, and I was like, think of something crazier. So I think I can really like check that one
Yeah,
off.
check
of-
it out.
And it was-
Craziest
I don't-
place. Would you say that's the craziest place to have sex in?
I would say an airplane.
In an airplane?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's number 2?
A museum was pretty.
Museum. Wait, a bathroom museum or just like another part of the museum?
you need to
For
write a
me,
book.
or just like Hypothetically, the person would be working in the museum.
Oh, okay. So then it has the doors to like to all of
Yeah,
that. Okay.
hypothetically, there
The
would be like a
janitor
closet.
All right, what's number 3?
There's a closet. You guys are like writing this down.
All right, what's number 3?
11.
Somewhere in 11.
I don't. Beach is fun.
Sandy. Beach is
Yeah.
sandy.
I don't know where number. I'll tell you this summer.
Okay.
We'll leave
We'll
that one
check
hanging.
back around.
There's gonna like for part 2, guys.
coming soon.
Our next episode is gonna be at the airport as you land.
You guys will have the mics ready. Okay. I
Love it.
that's gonna be my thing. So we'll figure it out and let
Okay.
You
you
are
know.
such
we'll
an
circle
interesting
back.
person.
Yeah.
I feel
So
like
interesting.
Yeah, you need to start writing this book.
Yeah.
Because
That
I
would
feel
be
like
And I mean, just continue sharing your stories on TikTok.
Yeah.
I bet, like a lot of people are gonna be so interested.
there's
You're
so
gonna
many
blow
people
up
like
even
us
more.
who are just like,
We're like,
Yeah,
like
I love-
you, girl, like you lived.
Yeah.
You've lived.
I love sharing it and like talking about this. It makes
Yeah.
me so happy. And
And it's honestly
yeah.
empowering. Like you shouldn't
Yeah.
be like concerned like sharing shit.
That's why I want to focus more on like the good and the bad and just like the realness of traveling and not just like, oh yeah, I'm staying at this nice little place. Like
Yeah.
sometimes it sucks.
I feel like, your TikToks and like you telling people about your experience is kind of the light that we need right now. Like you said, the news is so negative and you hear us talking about it, like we're scared to go out alone. So hearing you and like your experiences makes me at least want to be brave enough to just pick up
to
and
not
go.
be scared to walk down the street.
At
and
least do it
freaking
once. I think
Italy.
doing it once in our lifetime would be something that would benefit.
Yeah. Even when I went abroad and when I studied abroad in Spain, like I was scared to go walk through the alleys at night. Like obviously I would be with another girl, but I would be freaking terrified.
Yeah.
Or taking like an Uber or something by myself. Even up to this day, I don't take Ubers alone in Miami.
Oh really?
I don't. I prefer to call my mom to pick me up than take an Uber by myself.
I would
I'm
say
scared
like,
of the world, man.
if that's like if I can leave and that's one thing that I can do is just like have
Empower.
one person, one female, male or female, but just like show one person like I can do it, you can do it. It's very empowering, and I've already heard of people that are like, I came on this trip because of you. That is like the best thing ever. So
That's so
really
cute.
nice.
Love that.
Super happy.
Love
Oh,
that.
Taylor, we love you. We're your
Yeah.
fan.
Yeah.
this has
We
been
are a
so much
fan.
fun.
Thank you for
Thank
joining
you.
us.
Yes, thank you
it's
for
gonna be a good
joining
one
us.
for sure. A
It
lot of people are
is.
gonna be snooping and wanting to hear.
It's
Yeah.
this is gonna be great to edit. I think we're good.
Yeah.
Right? We're all good. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in this week.
Episode 11.
Okay, 11. This is episode 10.
No,
No, 10 was-
Coachella was 10.
Oh shoot, you're right. Episode 11.
So we gotta celebrate at 11, right?
Hey.
Oh,
she right.
I'll
go get ready.
I think I know what
When
we're
you
doing
come back
before
from the
your
trip, we're going to Giselle.
When she come
When
back.
she comes back, she leaves Sunday, but she probably has stuff
I will
to
go straight from. Just kidding.
She's like, don't tell me. I'll go there
She
before
ready?
the airport.
Right? Oh my god, it's so true. Saturday and then the airport. Yo, you
Go
wild.
straight with your book bag.
Oh gosh. All right, guys, please show us some support. Subscribe, leave a comment. Don't forget to
Share.
review, rate, and we'll see you guys
Next
next
week.
hump day.
Next hump day.
Bye.